All right, let's go to Annie Costable from
Thank you.
Chicago.
Hey, Alyssa, thanks for your time. This is a Red Stars related question. What kind of confidence do you have in the team returning to play for an NWSL championship and even a Challenge Cup championship, given the depth and the new additions that were made in the offseason?
I'm certainly very excited about the year and the potential that we have. Bringing in a player like Mal is obviously huge. And excited to see what she's going to be able to do for us on the field in Chicago, and bringing back a veteran core of players. This is probably the deepest club team I've ever played on and for, and I think that's going to be great in terms of it's going to keep training competitives, and it's going to be hard for people to get onto the field, which I think is a good thing. So I think that extra intensity, extra competitiveness is just going to keep driving all of us to keep improving and getting better, and getting ready for, obviously the NWSL is a very unique, intense type of a league. So looking forward for the season.
And then just quick follow up. Casey mentioned that before she got, the call up that her Apple Watch was blowing up during training, and then as soon as she finished, she ran to Tierna and you and told you guys that she was coming to Orlando. So, from your perspective, how did that feel to have Casey rejoin the team?
I was just really excited and happy for her. I think she had obviously dealt with a couple injuries coming off of the end of last season and Challenge Cup in the fall series. And, to her credit, she has stayed ready and stayed training and been preparing, for her next opportunity to come back into camp. And it's never an easy thing to get, called in 24 hours before you're supposed to get on a flight and come in. And to her credit, again, she was prepared and she stayed ready. And that, I think, speaks volumes about who she is as a person and a player. And I'm just excited to see, that preparation and what she's going to be able to do here in this camp.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks. Let's go to Melina Gaspar. Go ahead, Melina.
Thank you. Hi, Alyssa. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time Argentina faced USA, it was the day of your debut on the national team with the senior team. And USA beat Argentina 7-0. So after all these years, what do you expect from the South American team?
I think, I expect them to be, very good on the ball, very crafty. And, anytime you can step on the field with, South American teams, it's always a challenge. It's always going to be a good team. And, that was certainly a memorable day for me, with it being my first cap. So I'm excited to see them now and have the opportunity to have them part of this tournament.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go back to Donald. Donald, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Alyssa. So last month when you guys played Colombia twice, it seemed, at least from the untrained eye, that you didn't have much to do back there during the games. Their defense was very sound as you guys made quick work of them. But this month you have a few different tests. How do you maintain that edge? And more importantly, how do you pass that knowledge on to Jane and Casey Murphy, who are the goaltenders with you? How do you quarterback the team, so to speak, when you don't know necessarily how they're going to attack you, especially three different teams with three different styles?
Yeah, I think that's, one of the best parts about this tournament is three very different teams and three very different challenges. And going, obviously, into preparing for the Olympics this summer, you're going to play all different types of teams. So as many different styles that we can play against leading into that is always, very helpful, and that's great for us. And that, each team presents unique challenges, and sometimes it's going to be, games from a goalkeeper perspective that you're facing a lot of shots or you're very involved with different things like that. But, obviously in Colombia, like you said, it was not as much shots on goal, but it was the communication between the back line. It was staying engaged. And I think we all know that the sport, you have to stay switched on for 90 minutes, and you don't want to ever have any, mental lapses in there. And I think that's a challenge in and of itself, as well as how can you stay engaged and ready, so that if, anything presents itself, you're prepared. And just keeping that communication with the back line, keeping us organized, keeping, paying attention to what's in front of us is going to be important.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Steph Young. Go ahead, Steph.
Thanks, Aaron. Alyssa, we talked to Crystal just a few minutes ago. She mentioned the team watched Judas and the Black Messiah and mentioned, it was a great way to discuss how the civil rights movement wasn't just hand-holding and marching. From your social media and, just quietly kneeling with your teammates, it seems like, you're a supporter of the conversations that have been happening on the team about, race relations and social justice. From your point of view, what have the conversations been like that, Crystal brought up, that this was a jumping off point to go deeper into, racial justice and stuff like that, just, particularly amongst the white players, because, we're not looking for reactions just from the Black players on this. You guys they're doing a lot of education. So what's been your point of view on that?
That was a really, it was a great night to be able to watch that together as a team, as a group, and we have had a lot of conversation and discussions around, equality and the, race issues and all of those conversations, and they've been great. And this was just another way to kind of engage and carry on those conversations. And, I think it's something that I'm proud to be a part of these discussions and hear the stories from my teammates and kind of learn more about different, past events and historical events. And I think that was what was unique, what was cool about the film was, obviously we learn about those types of things in school and in history classes and things like that, but to be able to kind of, see it in a film and then have discussion around it. And, it's one thing to have discussion. I think the next step is going to be, a little bit more impact and where do we go from here, and more actionable steps as, as a team and as individuals. And I think these conversations are important and they need to continue to happen. It can't just have been, one or two conversations. It needs to continue to build on each other and keep progressing.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Thanks, Liz. Let's go to Jonathan Tannenwald. Go ahead, JT.
Thank you, Aaron. Hi, Alyssa. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. In recent weeks, Vlatko has extended the goalkeeper depth chart out to, I think, 6 or so by my count, which it hasn't always gone that deep with the national team pool. And obviously, you're the number one and getting a lot of the minutes. But what do you make of the depth at the position at this point, especially going to the Olympics where the games are every 2 or 3 days or whatever it is? And it's a wear on everybody to be playing that much in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I think like any position, depth is important. Depth brings competitiveness. Depth brings, that drive to continue to improve and bring the best out of yourself every day to, stay a part of it. And I think the goalkeeper pool has always been very competitive. It's always been very intense, but it's always been, that it's also, goalkeeper union for a reason. We kind of beat each other up in practice, and then we support whoever's on the field at that time. And it's a very positive environment, and we've worked hard to cultivate that type of a training environment that, yes, it's competitive. Yes, we all want to play. Yes, we all want to get after it. But there's also that understanding that, if I'm at my best, it's only going to make everybody else around me, it's going to force the best out of them as well, and vice versa. So I think keeping that depth and a lot of different types of goalkeepers and a lot of different, personalities is going to continue to push each of us, myself, to continue to grow and improve and get better every day.
Thank you, as always.
Thank you. Last couple for Alyssa here. Let's go back to Meg Linehan. Go ahead, Meg.
Hi, Alyssa. Meg Linehan here. I have a very important question for you as a fellow New Englander, but I'm just wondering how you feel about Tom Brady winning a ring as not part of the Patriots.
I'm still very sad that he chose to leave New England, but I'll always be a Brady fan, and I was very happy to see him Gronk succeed down there in Tampa.
Perfect.
But it did hurt just a little bit, but still happy for him.
All right, let's go to, last one goes to Sandra Herrera. Go ahead, Sandra.
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it. Hey, Alyssa, I got a little bit of a Chicago-related question, too. With NWSL, there's obviously been a lot of discussion about these preseasons, how long and lengthy they're going to be, first time ever, 2+ months. How's it been sort of getting back in the mix, getting into Chicago as a market that early with the snow, the cold and everything, and then sort of having to break things up and dip back into the training camps in Florida with the national team?
Yeah, I think the extended preseason is great. That's when you're coming off of a 5-month off season, players are always trying to find ways to train and play in that off season. So I think having the ability to stay and be in market, be with your teammates, be with your training staff, being with your coaching staff, is going to be great for, each individual team. Chicago is, yes, it's a little bit cold at the moment. We got some snow, but we've got an inside bubble that we're in. Hopefully we'll be able to get outside pretty soon by the time we get back from here. But I think it's going to be, it was great to get back in, see the girls coming back in, meet some new teammates, and I'm excited to see, what the season has in store for us.
And just to follow up, I feel like I'd be remiss since I've got the last question here. To stay on brand as media, we've been talking a lot about Taylor Swift in these media sessions. Do you have an opinion on Taylor Swift, good and or bad?
I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I think she's great. I think getting to be part of her concert back in 2015 was probably one of the cooler experiences after winning the World Cup. So that was certainly a night that I won't forget. So that was awesome.